everyone. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 1 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and as with me always is Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
I love you.
Aww.
I did it!
I almost wish we had the music that went with it.
Does this movie have a score? I didn't even notice what it did.
Aw, it did. That's
Okay.
That hurts my feelings.
Hey, I had fun with it.
Good.
I had my issues with it,
Aw.
but I had fun with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the strongest Van Damme. Let's be honest.
No, it's not his strongest, but again, I would probably put it in his top 5 of his best movies.
All right. Well,
I'm curious what else you
we
would
might
put
have to cover that on a future season. I don't know.
Right, yeah, just do Van Damme movies? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay, fair enough.
But only the ones that went to theater. I'm not doing all the direct-to-videos. There's too many direct-to-videos.
No. It would definitely be that. Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, we saw Sudden Death, everybody.
First time for me.
Yeah, so this is my pick, and basically it is Die Hard in a sports arena.
A hockey arena.
Okay, sure.
The igloo, man.
Do I have to give more depth than that? I feel like that's it. It's Die Hard.
No,
that's it.
That's it.
That's the plot.
Yeah, that's it. Our hero is Darren McCord, a former firefighter turned fire inspector and also arson inspector.
I don't know. It almost seems like he has been hopping around. Nothing's really permanent as he's been trying to get out of the
funk that he's put himself in.
Yeah, since someone died on him. Yeah.
2 years ago, McCord was in a house fire without a radio for some reason. I mean, just seems bad firefighting.
Or maybe something fell and his radio was damaged. You couldn't get to it because clearly there was something on top of him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets stuck under some rubble with a little girl who dies in his arm. Not entirely sure how she died.
Well, the stuff collapsed and he tried to cover her and she,
right.
I don't know.
He had his mask on her.
Right.
So she shouldn't have suffocated and there was no visible wounds on her, but she's just dead now. Like
that we could see. I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, that we couldn't see anything. Like there was no blood.
Right.
Which is, odd. Because this is rated R, isn't it?
That's a good question. I didn't actually look.
Does Van Damme make PG-13 movies?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, think about looking that up.
I didn't think to look at that.
This will take seconds. Yeah, rated R. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, just thinking about some of the deaths, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, of course, the chicken bone was.
But I mean, anyway. Still kid death. I mean, we don't need to see all that.
I want to see a bloody dead little child. Yeah.
Wow, that's disturbing. Okay.
Just a little bit of blood coming out of the head. Just something to let me know how this kid died.
I don't think it's important. I think that's a weird nitpick. Like, who cares?
It's not a major thing. I'm just saying. It's just like, that was weird.
Clearly the kid died. It messed him up. And because I think there's like a weird throwaway line when he goes to, kind of be, I don't know. I guess he's in the wrong, right? Showing up to his ex-wife's or whatever, trying to get the kid. No, not really, because he's like, hey, look, but I didn't know I was going to have these tickets, right? Come on, right? But there's like a throwaway line there about that it's not a permanent thing. Like it's like it sounds like too that they only have a fire marshal for, basically the playoffs. It sounds like for big events. Like it's not like a regular every thing they have for every game. There's like a couple lines there that they have too about that. So it doesn't seem like this is a full-time thing for him to do for the Penguins here.
Well, this just feels tacked on, this whole kid death thing, because Cliffhanger was a big hit 2 years ago. They're like, hey, let's do Cliffhanger beginning. Like, yeah, good idea. People love that.
Yeah.
So, because of this trauma, Darren switches careers, and presumably that's the reason for his divorce. And his kids are ashamed to have a dad that doesn't risk his life all the time, and instead works a safe life-checking light bulbs.
Yeah. They really hammer that home.
And scoring them incredibly hard to get tickets.
Yeah. And clearly, he's, at least the son there is a hockey fan. Clearly, you see him playing, like, he should be pretty stoked.
At one point, the hockey announcers, the play-by-play guy and the color guy are talking about, they talk about how hard it is to get tickets for this game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
They said you couldn't get in the building with a gun, which is, ha, 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 it's what's going to happen.
Hilarious.
Right, but like, how did the fire inspector get tickets to Game 7? Let's see, lower bowl tickets.
They like him. He's a really good dude.
They really do. Everybody knows him there. Knows the fire inspector.
Icy knows him. Like, he's a good guy.
The head chef. Like,
yeah.
All the security guys, like, what's going on?
They're all chummy already. He's like, oh, you know, why don't you change the light bulb for me? Oh, okay. Like,
yeah, honestly, I was just like, okay, whatever. But I was kind of pissed at these kids, like, especially, you know, the son's like, kind of rooting for the terrorists to take you out.
oh. Well,
hey.
he was a little mean to his sister, but, you know.
And his dad, he's a little bit of a bastard.
Yeah, a little bit. He's confused. His dad was cool, and now he's not.
Yeah, now he just checks light bulbs. Like, oh, my dad's safe. Sucks.
He's a hero, and he's not a hero anymore.
I liked it better when he might die any day. You bitch.
Don't think about it that way. He's just a superhero. That's what I like to hear. Think of my dad, right? Yeah.
Yeah. As you mentioned, the ex is not happy with him just showing up, but it's just like...
Because he's supposed to get the kids the next day.
It seems strange that she doesn't know that about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, she seems like completely confused by the subject. Like, her new guy is like, those are hockey tickets. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
And is defending him. She's like, I'm like, you live in Pittsburgh. There's like only two things that happen here: Steelers and Penguins. Like, what do we? I guess the Pirates. But let's be fair.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly count. Yeah.
Not since Barry Bonds has been there, that mattered. But still, I was like, oh, that's weird. One of my favorite parts of every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is watching them go out of their way to explain Van Damme's accent.
He's French-Canadian.
He's Canadian in this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah.
he even played some goalie back in his day.
He did, and that comes up later.
Love it.
I don't understand what a fire inspector has to do at the game.
Yeah, I didn't think. Why do you need a full-time one though? Like the whole time? I don't.
Like I could see him being there before the game, making sure things are fine. Right. And then he sits the kids down, and he stays with them for like 5 minutes. Like, all right, I got to go to work. I'm like, to do what?
Check more light bulbs. They make fun of him. He's got to go check more light bulbs.
It's like, honestly, in this one instance, I was on the kid's side. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
It makes sense. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it's like, I don't think it matters. Like, it's
just me having some fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler is unimpressed that his sister Emily gets to go and meet the Penguin mascot Icy, and McCord lets him know that blonde you're staring at, she's the fat guy. What'd you think? You want more of the Van Damme?
It's not bad. It's not bad. You know.
I gotta ask you another one. This features maybe one of the worst Van Damme line readings I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh, that's tough.
To be fair, it has been a minute since I've watched any Van Damme.
Yeah.
But, and it felt like it was like a late in the game ADR where he's like yelling at his son. Or he's like, don't move. If the building is falling down around you, don't move.
And then the building's quite like almost falling down around him.
Yeah, he takes that literally. But it's like,
I didn't move, Dad.
But he's pissed at his son at this moment for like squirting his sister with the squirt gun and everything like that.
Yeah.
And she's run away crying, and he's just like, don't move. I'm like,
you don't want to lose two kids.
That's the energy you have? I'm sorry. I know a couple people who have two kids, and this is not how they react to one of the kids screwing up.
You know what? I think the worst mess up for him is towards the end of the movie after he's rescued his daughter and then presumes to lose her again. Almost immediately.
That's not on him. That's on the kid.
But like, I mean, he's like clearly having this conversation with this like Secret Service agent and like just does not pay attention to his daughter's wandering off again. It's like, oh, come on, man.
She was right there. What's she going away for? It's just not like, why?
You'd think you'd have a little bit closer attention at this point, maybe.
You'd think the kid who just been held by a terrorist for the past 2 hours wouldn't be moving.
She was really excited that she caught the bad guy with the stamp.
I was very excited that plot point came back too. So let's go to some of my favorite line readings from... did you have any... Sorry. Get back into my Van Damme.
Van Damme.
Did you have any agents posted at private elevator? 2. Notify their families. And then he goes really fast with this. And it's like, I was like, oh, stop! Let the jokes land. And another one was like, they asked him, the Hallmark asked him, have you had any contact with the aggressors? I killed 2. Is that contact? But he doesn't even pause like I just did there. I killed 2. Is that contact? It's like, that's how he delivers it. I'm like, you're better than this.
It is quick, yeah. Because, he is capable of those type of lines, so I get what you're saying. But I don't know. I still thought there was still a decent amount of humor that he's able to kind of lay down throughout. So I get what you're saying. Like, there's some stuff that's not well, like, let it land or whatever. I get what you're saying, and at least especially in those moments. But there's plenty of other examples. Yeah.
But I think my biggest issue with this character in this movie is that they don't let him play across a woman, an adult woman.
Yeah, there is none.
Van Damme is way better when he's let the charm go on. It's like, I'm trying to fuck this girl.
Right.
That's when he's at his best.
That smile comes on and all that.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Van Damme, reportedly a very horny individual in his personal life, so it just comes off on screen and it works. But when he's just dealing with kids, I'm not really into this. This isn't doing anything for me.
Yeah, I think the most, is with the terrorist dressed, or not, I guess not technically a terrorist, but anyway, the terrorist that takes over the icy costume is the most screen time he gets with a female. So, yeah.
How about McCord, the firefighter turned fire inspector / arson inspector, deciding to disarm the bombs himself?
Yeah, because firefighters know how to do that.
Did you not see the opening of Lethal Weapon 3?
Not in a long time, to be honest.
Have you not seen the opening? I mean, it came out 3 years before this movie, but
no, I know it's just been a while. Is all.
It's where Riggs decides to disarm the bomb by himself.
Right.
Blows the building up because he doesn't want to wait for the bomb squad. It's especially maddening that my dude just cuts the wires and removes the C4, and then he starts blindly pressing buttons that he can't see. It's behind the pipe, so he takes the wires out, cuts them out, and okay, that's fine. And then he reaches around and just starts pressing buttons blindly. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean,
at least look at it.
They kind of play with it the first time, the first disarm, because he starts doing stuff and he cuts the wire. He literally looks like I might blow us all up because I don't think I know what I'm doing. And then he's like, oh, cool. Wait, nothing. I think we're good. And then the next time he's disarming them faster. Oh, yeah. So I thought it was fine that they kind of played off of that, and I forget what big thing noise happens to make you think oh, the bomb went off, end of movie.
But the fact that he hit the buttons behind the pipe, just blindly, I'm like, no. A really good moment for Van Damme is genuinely very funny. Is when he starts to do the ruse with the C4 on the goon.
Oh, yeah.
He has the first goon, and he uses his air rifle thing that he has invented, which I don't know if it has the amount of air pressure he's looking for in that.
He turned into MacGyver.
Yeah. But then he goes to the second goon and he tries the same. He's like, "This is the most powerful plastic explosive in the world."
Yeah.
Don't shoot. Whatever. Kills guy. Next guy comes over. This is the most powerful plastic explosive in the world. And then Hallmark comes over and punches him out, so he's saved.
Yeah.
I was really glad that Hallmark got revealed to be a secret villain later in this movie, because him showing up there was man, it's really convenient that he started off there in the basement.
But also, it made sense. I know he says
they followed those two guys, but I'm like,
it's helpful, too, because it's there's no way he could be this bad at his job. Right?
Yeah.
And then it's oh, no, it's on purpose. He's this bad because he's in on it.
Yeah, it's from the very beginning with his stuff, I'm like, what? And we'll get into that later. But I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
I really enjoy McCord punching him as soon as he sees me, Hallmark. That's for doing your job half-assed and putting my daughter's life in danger.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It is fun. And you're right. I thought that it was funny. That part with the plastic explosive and stuff like that too. So I thought there was a fair, decent humor and a couple nice one-liners. As much as the backstory here is a bit weak, but they're giving him some kind of journey of sorts to go through, right? It's to have his kids look at him with pride again and kind of not be scared, it seems, anymore, right? That seems to be kind of the thing he's going through. So they got something there, and that's more than a lot of action movies do, to be fair. So yeah, I didn't mind it, and he's charming.
Not in this movie. I don't think he's really that charming in this movie.
I think he does a good job in this movie. I'm impressed because he gets his butt handed to him. He really gets his butt kicked a lot. Like this is probably like the least martial artsy movie he's like ever done.
I think that's kind of my big problem with it. It just felt kind of watered down and half-assed.
No, I don't think so.
There's some. Like,
I think it's cool. Like, I think it's refreshing almost. Like, it's like, oh, it's just him getting his butt kicked. He seems like actually a little bit closer to a normal dude that can somehow get a really high leg kick every once in a while.
It's those goalie skills, which he doesn't show off when he's a goalie. But
yeah, which is another really funny part. That part's funny.
So I gave this category a 2 for hero. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know he can do better. I know he's done better.
Sure.
This was not a Hall of Fame Van Damme movie for me.
I went 3.5.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I really did like where he's in goal and he's like, stay down there, and then like they start coming down. He's like, oh shit, like he's like, it felt such a real reaction. Like, oh, I'd be terrified, you know. Like I thought that part was funny.
I put that sequence in action because I have a lot to say about it.
Fair enough.
And it's a higher rated category than this one but this is the next one up is the highest rated category for me for villain.
Yeah.
Powers Booth.
I kind of figured you were gonna go higher because how could you not with Powers Booth? Like he is chewing up the scenery and having a blast. He's doing his best like Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege like kind of thing here going. Like he's really going for it.
I was gonna call him Hans Gruber, but yeah, right there. I mean, it's
many lines that he's thrown out like a mile a minute in the beginning when he really first is in.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And God, I miss him. It's a shame we lost him so
yeah, bad. I agree.
It's also a shame we never got a character name for him, except for the credits. Apparently his name is Joshua Floss.
Wouldn't know. Well, I mean, they almost seem to be trying to keep his identity almost like a secret. You kind of get the gist that he works for some kind of government agency or whatever.
He works for the Secret Service in their counterfeit division.
Yeah.
We find that out much later in the movie.
But it's like almost like throwaway lines too with it. Like it's just like it's not a huge like plot point to it. It seems like it's weird.
No, well, it's just like it doesn't really matter because what we care about is like this guy wants money and he'll do anything to get it.
Yeah,
which is fine. I don't need a deeper motivation than that because especially with the way Powers Booth is playing it, it's just delicious.
Oh yeah.
He's amazing. Sadly, lost him 7 years ago.
He's clearly like the smartest person in the room, like the entire movie, and he just completely owns everybody in the dialogue, and it's always funny. And even like when he can go like just super evil, like the way he's talking to the daughter, or where he's talking about the mayor's wife, whatever. Can we shut this cow up or whatever? Like we all agree she's the one that dies first or whatever, right? It's just like, oh, this is a lot of fun.
So after the bad guys have taken over the vice president's suite, one Secret Service agent asks for a doctor for an agent that was shot. So Booth walks over and shoots the guy, hurt agent dead. And then, please, you need a doctor. Not anymore. And
then he shoots the one like right next to him in the leg.
Yeah.
Too. It's like, oh man.
Over to him. And the VP goes on a rant. It's just like that dead agent had 2 kids and a pregnant wife. And Booth replies, "I'll send her a card."
Yeah. And then
what do you want?
Yeah.
What do I want? World peace, an end to bigotry, no more mini malls. What am I gonna get? And I am gonna get it. That Boys and Girls is really hot. A+ delivery.
Yeah. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. All the delivery is great.
So they have numbers of 13 bank accounts in 5 U.S. banks that belong to 3 different countries that the U.S. government has frozen for a variety of reasons.
Right.
representing a total deposit of $1.7 billion. And terrorists want to, well, I don't know, terrorist feels wrong, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's Habit from Die Hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Who also weren't terrorists, want to move a third of the money before the end of each period into accounts of his choosing. If they don't get a third of the money by the end of the period, they will kill a hostage. If they don't get 2/3 of the money by the end of the second period, they will kill 2 hostages. And if they don't get all the money by the end of the game, they will blow up the arena with the bombs they have planted around it. I really do appreciate this movie realized there's no way Powers Booth could get away with $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Best guessing, he gets like $500 million payday is a fair compromise.
Yeah, because they even talked about how he was like, he's already set up a couple of deals with a couple foreign leaders too. So like they're getting
they will
their
immediately
cut.
transfer the bank account to somewhere else. And
Yeah.
like, I just want enough to pay off my American Express card.
Yeah, which is another great line. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, this is a lot of fun.
And I don't think it's the mayor's wife. It's one of the other wives in there. It's like, I don't think anyone with manicured fingernails and a $10,000 wristwatch would blow themselves up. 15,000.
And you gotta love too how he just kills the mayor's wife, and then he just kills the mayor. Like this villain is doing a lot of like bad. Like,
Would we all agree that the mayor's wife has been the most annoying?
yeah.
Because she's just like crying the entire time. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. I too love too when he first comes in into the booth or whatever, and they're all doing the standing for the national anthem, and he just kind of shrugs and then also decides to put his hand over heart, and it's like it's just there's that much charisma almost the entire time.
Always. So Emily, McCord's daughter, witnesses the goon in the Mr. Icy costume murder someone and is brought to Booth for safekeeping because they can't kill her out in public. Booth talks to her, would you like it if I filled your little mouth with spiders?
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of
So
threat is that?
disturbing.
I was like, that is screwed up.
But wait, isn't it so I guess he was not too great at getting all of his help, because she just offhands kills someone in the bathroom and just is gonna hide the dead body in a urinal and somehow
Not the urinal stall.
you know what I mean? I've done that before this last season. But anyway, yeah, the dead body's gonna be in the stall for like 3 periods of a hockey game and intermissions, and
It's a women's restaurant and arena. It's always full, so no one will question anything.
yeah, it's just weird. Like, it's just like, man, that's okay. They go out of their way being like, well, it's so loud in here. This is a crazy crowd. It's so loud in here. It's
so loud, no one will ever hear a gunshot in this indoor arena.
Or explosions going off outside the arena. Like,
Yeah. What was up with the fake bomb remote control? It's actually a lighter.
I don't know, but I enjoyed it. Like,
Did he have that custom made?
Just to mess with somebody? Maybe.
Yeah, he's just waiting for that moment. Like, I can't believe they made many novelty lighters that blinked like a bomb remote.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the hell is this? I love this. I'm not afraid of you. Oh, sure you are. I'm the scariest person you've ever seen. And then he's later on talking to Emily. He's like, I'm going to kill your daddy. What do you think about that? It's like, ooh.
I like the dead heroes get the best funerals.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, go for it. Like, it's like, oh man, this guy's great. Even his ridiculous outfit in the end to try to get away.
The bad wig and the mustache.
And like a crazy like 90s leather Penguins jacket that he's wearing.
They blended in with that. That I had no problem with. The wig and the mustache is a bit much, but
it's ridiculous looking. But it's like, okay.
Although this is the part that really confused me with the bad guy plan. So he's sneaking out the front door with the wig and the mustache, right? That's what he's on the way. His way to go out with the crowd.
Maybe, but it seemed like the helicopter was always part of the plan.
That's what's confusing me.
Which is, I wish we got. Did we get a name for that guy? The guy who killed the chef's wife, and like,
I've been calling him the Fig Newton son of a bitch.
He is really good at his job, because like he shows up and gets his job done, disappears, fires a freaking missile, disappears again. Like somehow all of these police cannot find him as he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and all of a sudden he's transported magically to get a helicopter. And it's like, man, this guy's amazing. Like, this is impressive.
I was hoping for a more violent death for him after he killed that nice
just
lady
simple
who gave him
shot.
Fig Newtons.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's like
He got to get the Fig Newtons. Be nice.
yeah. I mean, it's weird. Powers Booth's death scene because it's so over the top.
Well,
But I'm enjoying it too, and it's like I don't know how to feel one way or another. Because at one hand I'm like, "Oh, good lord," but then I'm laughing and enjoying it. I don't know how to feel with it.
I gotta say, I bought that Powers Booth could be a somewhat physical threat for Jean-Claude Van Damme because of his size. Because he's like he's 6'2", so he's got a good
Broad-shouldered and
yeah. He's got a good 4 inches on Jean-Claude there. So he looks like he could beat him up.
Yeah.
And they're in such a tight area there at the end. It all seems plausible. Like, they can trade some punches. It's fine.
Sure. But they never show, again, Jean-Claude here being this elite, action hero. Again, I always saw him kind of getting his butt kicked a lot in this movie.
So I gave this category a 4.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I went 3 and no wait, hold on, villain. Sorry. Yeah, it's 3.5 again. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Action, stunts. This one doesn't really count, but I put it here because I didn't know where else to put it.
Oh yeah.
I had a laugh as the goons were rushing out of the hideout in the beginning of the movie to get to the game.
With the penguin bomb.
Booth sets the timer on the stuffed penguin bomb,
and
the way everyone is rushing out. I thought for sure it was going to be a massive explosion.
And it's not.
Into the place. And it's like a poof. I'm like, uh-oh. This is a bad harbinger. This movie, that's not good. The first big and best action fight of the movie is McCord versus Carla in the icy suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like the GIF that I sent you for it too? You just see like a spinning back kick in the air in a penguin costume. It's just like, oh, that's impressive.
It is. It's funny that when McCord punches Icy, his punches are kind of like muffled because there's so much padding on the suit, so it makes sense. But I
love that she punches him. Tries punching her in the face or whatever too when she's wearing the
right. But like when she punches him, it sounds like good old skin on skin.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like, well, that seems wrong.
But again, a lot of that fight, like he's losing. Like
until he blinds her with some red pepper flakes.
Yeah, which made me laugh, right?
I mean, you're the guy always asking for it in the restaurant. Like,
gets her hand in the deep fryer, which is pretty gnarly, right? Yeah. And so he basically has to use his environment to win that fight. Otherwise, she was winning in this giant penguin costume.
Well, Faith Minton was the woman playing the part. She's a stunt woman. 6'1".
Oh, okay.
Stunt woman who has like 3 inches on Jean-Claude there. So she convincingly kicks his ass. The only part that I was like, I don't know, is like when she starts dragging him across the table.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that requires a lot of upper arm strength on that one, unless they...
Well, especially when you're in that costume.
Butter down that table. Yeah, right?
Well, they never got to clean because they just told them all to leave.
That's true.
Maybe it was all greasy. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But also pretty gnarly death.
This was the part that I had a problem with.
Yeah?
So she gets choked to death.
Yeah, strangled.
The back of the costume gets stuck onto the conveyor belt on the steamer.
Yeah.
Right, for the dishes. But that strap that's holding her on the
strong strap.
I mean,
it's sewed in there well.
That's Velcro. That's holding that down.
You need it really strong because you can't horrify children. They need the illusion. So it's a strong strap, Patrick. That's what it is.
It's a good, memorable fight, but that was a ridiculous kill.
No, I liked it.
It's cool at the same time going through the dishwasher.
Yeah.
I was like,
And then you kind of see her all like dead. It was like, all right, cool. And then I also like too the to give you a reason why he doesn't have a gun for like a lot of this movie. Like he tries to get the gun, but it's in the dishwasher thing, so it's like all hot or whatever. So it's like, God, I can't get it, like crap, and then he has to leave. So he's like very low tech, and again, he runs away a lot too in this movie. Like he has to run away.
Good cause.
Yeah.
They'll have machine guns.
But I like it. It's just like I I don't know, like you don't get that a lot, especially from his movies. So it's like
Anyway,
this
it's
is
also
refreshing.
just it's a good, like, visually it's funny,
right,
cool, of like seeing this guy fight a mascot. And it's just
It is. It's just great.
It's amazing that the Penguins let them do this, but I guess they, it's during the strike.
Yeah, it's. I think that's exactly what it was. Right, it's in that era.
So fight number 2, we're back in the goddamn kitchen. Dry ice to the hand. That's a hurting.
Yeah.
But it's so cool, this death scene, but also ridiculous.
Yeah.
The chicken bone to the neck.
Yeah.
Is badass. It is.
It's great.
But the way he like snaps the chicken bone off the table to like get the sharp edge, just like, as if I was at this pencil, just like,
right.
Oh, sharp edge.
Boom. Bam. Done.
I mean,
it's great.
What?
I love it.
What kind of bone was this that could do? Maybe if it had been like, I don't know, like a chicken wing bone, but that's like, it was a hearty bone that he had there.
It was like a thick thing, for sure.
Yeah, that he just like snapped off by hitting it against the table. Like,
maybe
bones are really strong. That's not gonna happen.
It was already weakened beforehand. He just got lucky. I don't know. Who cares? It was cool.
Yeah, it was. It's cool. Blowing up the cars in the parking lot was a nice touch.
Yeah. Explode.
Imagine surviving this whole event. The Penguins didn't win the cup. You get outside and find out your car is toast on top of it. Like, oh!
We don't even know, right? Because the game didn't get to conclude.
I know. They have to do it all again.
What do we do?
Horribly traumatized.
We would just restart the sudden death period? Like 2 days later, I guess? I don't, like... That's crazy.
Have to bring everybody in for that sudden death?
Right?
That sucks.
Is everybody who has Game 7 tickets allowed to go back? And then you're do this whole thing?
You want to go back?
You're probably all scarred, right? Even the players. Yeah. I'm like, there was a helicopter coming down. You want me to play? Like, I mean...
That's a good point. The whole thing is probably screwed up. I mean, how
I guess
that game?
We'll do Game 7 in Philly. It's close. I don't know. Like...
Yeah,
somewhat still
seems very unfair for a Game 7 Stanley Cup, but yeah, I guess it's true. You can't do it in Chicago. That would really be unfair.
Yeah, it would have to be somewhat close to them.
Yeah.
But so many questions.
So at one point, the Secret Service has 2 helicopters flying over the arena for the purposes of, I don't know why.
Well, he told them, Powers Booth told them, no
helicopters.
Yeah,
right.
None.
Fig Newton, man, is there to murder. And ready with the bazooka.
Yeah, just has it.
He takes out one of the copters, and it's a nice explosion.
Yeah.
But it's confusing that while they were over the arena, somehow the guy who fell from the helicopter ended up in the parking lot, like away from the arena. Like,
I must have. Okay.
Like
I was
still
more
a football field away.
Again, the Fig Newton guy. I'm just so impressed by him. Like nobody can find him.
He does his job very well.
He has like Jason Voorhees powers in this movie.
Well, I was very grateful for that movie. Even like so he's gonna do this from that roof. He better like fucking book it out of there. Else I'm gonna be pissed that they just couldn't figure out where that bazooka came from. But thankfully the cops were on.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fine. This movie's not that stupid. Appreciate it. I just got, my hair was on end because I saw like, wait, they were over the arena. How did the guy fall in the parking lot?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's as much as this movie is completely nuts, right?
Right.
I appreciate how it goes out of its way to like justify its insanity sometimes. Like I can appreciate
another great example of this movie just being absolutely insane, but like it's fun. So I don't know what to do. It probably doesn't even belong in action, but I wanted to give a shout out to the bad guys rounding up all the undercover Secret Service agents that went into the arena.
Yeah!
Sticking them in a Zamboni and getting the Zamboni to drive right up to the Secret Service staging area.
And to unload its ice and bodies. Like, I felt like it did on...
Efficient and nice, intimidating production by the bad guys.
Yeah. It's very cool.
I mean... Sucks. I think someone might ask some questions like, why do we only have one Zamboni for the rest of this game?
Yes. That was one of the questions I had. Yes.
All right.
And like, man, they efficiently took those undercover dudes out fast.
Really fast.
Yeah,
I mean, it happens
really
in
fast.
seconds.
And man, these had to be like the shortest intermission periods like ever. But especially for the Stanley Cup Game 7 playoffs. But yeah, it's crazy.
The next thing I want to talk about is when McCord lights Hallmark up
Yeah.
with the Super Soaker flamethrower.
Yes.
I fucking
Sun
lost
comes
it.
through.
I was cackling. He goes on fire so fast.
Yeah,
Like
right
he
away.
might have well hit him with napalm.
He already kind of soaked himself up earlier just to
My
pregame
guy
it.
yelled "flame on!" He went up so
Yeah.
fast.
I laughed.
It's a nice fire stunt, though.
I laughed more where he pops back up, like
I loved it.
completely, like because it's a really quick like clip of it, but like you don't see him for that long, but he is like
Brundlefly.
messed up looking, and somehow had enough energy to come. Bah! Like,
he's there for the jump scare, but then it's like 1-2 punches, he's done. But
most people would after being on that kind of fire.
And I don't know how he got himself out.
Yeah. Rolled around in enough cement. I don't know. Like,
whatever. It was cool.
yeah, it was.
You have to do it a lot with this movie. Like, oh, that doesn't make... Whatever. It was cool. You know?
But I like, too, is like, let's not think about it because there's already these other guys hunting for him with guns, so I got to go back into, like, hiding
Let's
kind
not
of
think
deal.
about it. I need to use his charged cell phone that somehow still works to have
Yeah.
a nice, fun conversation with Powers Booth now. I'm like, wait, that shouldn't... Oh, this is a fun conversation now.
Yeah, who cares? Who gives a shit? It's gone. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So it's set up early that the Penguins starting goalie has 104-degree fever,
yeah.
but is playing
Epic.
through it. The man should be in a hospital, but hey, it's Game 7.
Yeah, devoted.
After giving up the go-ahead goal late in the game, the goalie decides to take himself out. And this is when McCord sneaks into the locker room and dresses himself up as the goalie to get away from the Cootons chasing him.
Right, he's being chased, yeah.
He does this in seconds.
It's real fast, which is another crazy thing, yes, because it takes a while to.
I had to go on
yourself up.
YouTube and I had to check. Like, I searched for the shortest video I could find for how to put on goalie pads.
Yeah.
Shortest one I could find was just under 8 minutes. That's neither here nor there.
Right.
I was like, I thought about that for a second. The skates alone, Tim.
I get it. Which is funny because I think I appreciate it later. And we'll cycle back to what you're saying.
Where
But
he
like
cuts it off,
he's using a knife to cut it off to get off the skates faster, which I liked that little part. Again, the movie goes out of its way to try to help its insanity. I like it.
So McCord, who played some goalie back in Canada, goes out onto the ice and sits on the bench, and the coach just assumes that this is his starting goalie back. So he puts him in the game. 2 breakaway shots happen seconds after. First time McCord comes out of the net and breaks up the play and almost gives himself a concussion.
Yeah.
And the second time, he stays in net, and the Blackhawk player gets a shot off, and instead of Van Damme doing his signature split, which he's done in just about every single one of his movies, he falls over to his left and gets a weak-ass glove save.
Which they say is the best save of the year or whatever, yeah.
Which I'm like, ew, what? Are you...
Rough
No.
season.
That's a bad save. That was dumb luck. It didn't even look cool. How did they not have him do a split there? Goalies do splits all the time. This would have been...
Well, at least in modern day, but yeah, I get what you're saying. That is like prime what he's capable of, yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I just assumed, like, I knew this happened in the movie. I'd never seen it before. I'm like, here we go. Here comes the split. I'm like, he just fell over.
Yeah.
I can fall over.
Maybe
This
they
is
were
terrible.
thinking again because they go out of their way so much in this movie to try to be okay with the insanity of the movie. So they thought, well, maybe this would be more realistic if he just kind of falls over and saves the, because he's
God,
clearly
I bet you're
like,
right. I bet
oh
that's
my
exactly
gosh.
what it was.
That was probably the thinking, right? Because
I hate that.
Because clearly they do go out of their way too to really tone down the martial arts and the fighting of this. Like it's really not as much there. Like
when they want to. My dad's still doing spinning kicks.
Yeah, he still does like a high kick here or there, and then like at the end, all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to evade this guy on the roof, so I'm going to descend down, and then you're going to see my freaking biceps as I'm, moving or trying to get around him or whatever, right? And then lift myself back up or whatever, and like, oh well, now you're showing that he's ripped. Like it's not till like almost the end of the movie, so it's weird when that happens.
Okay, but like, if he played goalie before in Canada, he could have conceivably known how to do a split and how to play goalie. So it's just like,
I guess.
I don't know, it bothered me. I was like, come on.
I feel like though it's a slight difference here. Like I feel like goalies more modern day are different than even the 90s goalies. Like goalies now are so much bigger and somehow so insanely mobile and doing splits and stuff that I don't think we see goalies doing that
All right.
then. But
Okay.
so that's why I was thinking they're going for more of the realism, and this movie's trying to be as realistic as possible in its insanity. So maybe that's why they went that. But you're right, like that should have been prime what he does. But I think I still, again, the insanity of it was so much fun. I still loved how he's like cursing and like under his breath about during that whole sequence. I thought it was still a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I'll go watch some Mike Richter highlights after we finish recording.
You're gonna go to Richter, huh? I'm surprised.
That's my guy.
Well, I get it. I'm surprised.
You wanted 90s, so that's my guy in the 90s.
I know for sure. I just thought you were gonna, make other jokes first, but okay.
I'm not gonna make a Lundqvist joke. Lundqvist didn't play in the 90s. It doesn't make any sense.
No, you're right. Okay.
You go look at Patrick Waugh.
You just love to take shots at the king. Is all I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he ever won an overtime game. So McCord starts a fight on the ice to get out of the game.
Yeah, just knocks the guy out.
I was like, yeah, that's a clever way to get out of this.
Yeah.
Because it's a contrived nonsense to get him onto the ice to begin with. But I was like, all right, that's funny. Somehow McCord is recognized by one of the goons while he's in the full hockey gear,
that one was pretty ridiculous.
Sir.
So his whole ruse
and then
to
McCord
escape
gets the hockey
work.
pads off in seconds again. This time with the help of a knife, which seems
more
more plausible than getting it on.
Yeah.
But they haven't changed into combat boots. I'm like, oh, those are going to take a minute to put on. You got a lot of laces there.
I thought he had those kind of boots the whole time.
But still, it's going to take him a few minutes to put on.
Yeah. I think this is also when he's officially out of his fire marshal shirt and he's just wearing a white t-shirt at this point. The undershirt is just, that's what we're going to do now.
And this leads to the most ridiculous, worst fight in the movie in the weight room.
There's parts of it I like, but I get what you sent me is like, yeah, that's a rough part. Yeah.
He just gives like a little shove to the punching bag. And he's like, oh! Like, what? And then he defeats the bad guy, but with a thigh press to the head. Like,
Yeah, he's like using. I like what he's using the machine to hit him or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's funny, but come on.
I forgot too. Where, by the way, with the goalie thing, where the announcer had some funny lines too. He was like, when he went down, he's like, he went down so hard, his kids are gonna be dizzy. But anyway, yeah, weight room fight, ridiculous. Yeah, use the machine to knock him out. I like it.
The next bad guy taken out is more impressive. He gets like a 2-leg drop kick.
Yeah,
it's like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
he goes flying into a wall of junk and gets knocked out. I was like, that was cool. So it's a little better. The rest of the fight ain't much, but that was nice.
Yeah.
I love McCord climbing on the outside of the arena like he's Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
And somehow the guy on the roof just does not hear him.
Not at all. I can't imagine. It's just so noisy up there in the wind. Maybe, I don't know. We'll go with that. You know what?
You're right.
Yeah.
Could have been windy.
Could have been windy.
I've never been to Pittsburgh. Maybe it's a windy city.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's water there.
But he's very stealthy. I don't.
So stealthy.
He had to show off his guns a little bit. This is like the least he's ever showed his body off, like ever.
We'll get into that later. So where was it? Oh yeah. The fight isn't much on the roof, and I honestly think that he could have lived. This is the first guy he fights that falls down.
Oh yeah, I like he gets like a Wilhelm scream, but it looks like he's just sliding.
Yeah, right. I'm like, that was like, okay, maybe 20 feet. I think his legs are broken, but he's dead. So then it leads to the next fight, where the one bad guy falls on the lighting and tries to swing himself to safety, but ends up screwing up and falling onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, which ends the game at this point.
Yeah. Finally, everyone's recognizing. And then Ethan Hunt himself would have been proud at how extra McCord's entrance into the owner's suite is.
You gotta love it. He just swings around on these lights that somehow expertly break to get him to the next thing.
Rappelling from the arena roof to the rafters below.
And
hops
was
on
that
a
the
spotlight.
camera?
I couldn't tell if it was a spotlight or a camera.
I thought it was the camera.
I couldn't tell which one it was.
Yeah, either or, whatever.
Which zip lines him down as far as he can go down like the roof of the arena, the curved roof of the arena. And then he goes from there and hops onto another hanging light, uses his homemade bomb, using a mason jar he just found laying around.
More MacGyver, man.
Very convenient, just like this arena's rich with mason jars. Makes a hole in the ceiling and then swings himself into the ceiling of the box.
Yep.
The fight in the booth is actually pretty lame. Just a lot of smoky gunfire.
Yeah.
Booth gets away. But, like, that entrance was amazing. I was like, that was spectacular.
It was fun.
I loved it.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's the kind of ridiculous shit I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it was a little like, oh, I wish there was a little bit more once he gets in there. But, yeah, it's still pretty... I think when he jumps down, he conveniently knocks someone out just by him coming in, which is like, this is great.
Big bomb.
Yeah.
Emily recognizing Booth in his disguise because of the hand stamp she gave him earlier.
Yeah.
And the little dummy gets kidnapped again.
Yep.
Assuming the actress playing Whitney Wright is 7 years old when she made this, I'm sorry. Unless Booth is going to carry her up all those stairs, they're not moving that fast. No 7-year-old is moving that fast up arena steps unless she's chasing another kid.
And he
I've
leaves
seen enough 7-year-olds.
He leaves his son alone again with some random guy. I feel like I would not be trusting the Secret Service at this point.
Right, good point.
But here's Secret Service man I just met. Look after my son.
Right, and then you got like a kind of blah fight between McCord and...
it's mostly like a chase sequence than anything else.
Right, they throw a couple punches when they get up on the rig, but eventually Booth gets away and gets on his helicopter, Joker style, Batman 89.
Yeah, exactly.
And McCord decides to hook up on... You can't let him get away. So he decides to hook up on the ladder of the helicopters, which is insane.
Yeah.
And he shoots up and he kills both of the guys in the helicopter, which makes the helicopter go vertical.
Right, because the guy who died is pulling back now or whatever.
Right, but at some point that should have actually just gone... upside down.
Right, but instead we get this amazing, perfect, it just perfectly falls into the slight opening that the dome has, and it continues to be perfectly straight like that as it goes down, and it goes so slow for so long. Like
we can look each other in the eyes.
It felt like the Austin Powers joke. Well. Just get out of the way. Like, just get out of the way. And he just keeps yelling, like, ah! It's like, this is so long.
Yeah, not the best fall death explosion of this season, I promise you.
It's so funny, though.
The reflection of the fire in Emily's glasses was a nice touch.
I agree with that, yeah. Cool. It helps with how insane that death is.
Yeah. I gave this category a 3.
Let's see, what did I give it? I have to scroll back up. I gave it 3.5.
Oh,
a lot of 3.5. Yeah, a lot of 3.5 for me.
Okay, this next one better be lower.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is.
Supporting characters. Raymond J. Barry as the vice president.
That's who I have first too. Yeah, that's funny.
Who doesn't even get a name in the credits is completely.
He's just vice president. That's it.
Completely wasted this movie.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't Arlo Givens yet. But the man was a good actor.
He is good. I mean, he's got a few good lines, I guess. Kind of like he seems like somewhat of an upstanding guy. He likes to crack some jokes. They should have made him
a son of a bitch.
They should have, I guess.
Like it would have been so much more rich if he was actually kind of evil too, or did Powers Booth wrong somehow.
Right.
But it's still it's like.
No, he seems to be an upstanding almost guy. Like I'm ready to almost die to protect people almost. So.
Right, like when he starts threatening Emily or whatever, he jumps out of his seat to like help her, but like
I guess he seems to be the reason why the daughter ends up being alive this whole time, because he's like, there's no matter what, I will not help you at all if she dies. Because he was like, why isn't she dead already? Because the daughter gets brought up to the box or whatever, and it's like, why didn't you kill her? Like, why is she here? And then he's kind of like, if you kill her, I will not help. So it's like, oh, okay.
I don't know. It's just a shame.
I agree.
I love that guy, and I'm like, oh, I wanted more.
I agree.
Russ Mallinger, a.k.a. Jonah Baldwin from Sleepless in Seattle, plays McCord's son.
Okay.
Tyler, and he's a dick.
He's an older brother.
He's a dick of an... Well, okay. He did a hell of a job sitting in that chair.
He sat there. Building was coming down. He didn't leave.
Tyler's little bitch tendencies finally work out in his favor when Hallmark tries to convince him to go with him.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm with the Secret Service, and I'm a kid. Not moving. I'll scream.
I like that moment, to be honest. And I like Hallmark being like, this little shit got me. Like,
It's like,
damn it.
And the real kicker is at the end of the movie. I didn't move, Dad. I didn't move. Not even when things blew up. I didn't move.
Aww.
Bad. Whitney Wright, who was also Nick Nolte's daughter in I'll Do Anything, a movie I definitely saw 30 years ago and not once since. Couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, same.
Good or bad. Whitney plays McCord's daughter, Emily, and she's a sweetie.
Yeah, she's just being cute.
She gives people hand stamps.
Yeah.
Which is totally normal things for kids to do. I've seen it all the time. Credit to her. She's never annoying in this.
She's doing a good job just being the cute daughter that you want to make sure gets saved.
You're the meanest. Am I now? How do you suppose I got that way? Maybe when you were born, you had something wrong with your brain.
Yeah, she's cute.
And the 7-year-old girl has incredible upper body strength, able to pull herself up from that trap door at the end of the movie. She deserves the sequel.
Yeah.
So here, go save the Steelers.
Do you have anything else in this category? Because that was basically all I had.
One thing. Dorian Harewood, who plays the head of the VP Secret Service detail, Agent Hallmark.
Okay.
The beginning of the movie, I'm just laughing my ass off at the Secret Service telling the FBI to fuck off. No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Love that my guy is saying that there will be a media blackout and no one will get word while they're surrounding the entire arena with local police.
Apparently no one's just going to leave the game at some point. Like, no one's going to
notice that, like, all the police are just surrounding the igloo right now. Like, okay. And as I said earlier, I'm really glad that he was just a secret bad guy. He's just like, he's not actually this bad at his job. He's
this bad at his job on purpose.
So this category was a 1.
I had it as a 2. But yeah.
So a final score of a 10 for me.
I had a 12.5.
Right. Tim, an hour and 50 minutes long, this movie.
It is nice and tight.
And Van Damme doesn't fight anyone for nearly 40 minutes.
That's one of my notes. Like, it definitely takes a little while to get to it. That's for sure.
When I saw the opening credits, the Lethal Weapon block lettering, I was like, hello, friend.
Oh, it is like, you see all this, and you're like, oh, I am in the 90s. Like, it is
just quintessential 90s movie credits. Like, I love this.
The music and everything with it, it's like, yeah.
Luc Robitaille and Jean-Claude just chatting it up in French. Is that first for a Jean-Claude movie where they let him actually speak French? I can't remember.
It's been so long since I've watched a lot of them, but you might be right. I mean, but I
probably had to let him speak French in a restaurant once or something, but I can't remember if he just had conversational French.
Yeah, who knows?
I laughed when he was embarrassed by Luke saying they're going to fuck up the Chicago in French.
I liked in
the kids speak French. It's fine.
In the locker room too, where he sounds like he's the dad's actually a fan himself, and he's saying what most fans would probably talk.
About the one guy who
about being old and all that kind of stuff, and he's threatening him, and he's kind of this is awkward.
My dad says you need a rocking chair. He's like, oh, does he? Peter Hyams really shut the fuck out of this movie.
Yeah.
Somehow gave a hockey arena a moody atmosphere throughout. As impressive stuff. And the one shot of the camera going from the ice, pulling up to McCord hanging from the arena roof was great. I was like, oh, that's a really nice shot that he pulled off there.
There was a surprising amount of good practical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was, again, as you said too, with the glasses, with the explosion stuff, I was like, oh wow, it's such a weird, really cool thing to see towards the end of a movie. We're basically at the end at this point. So there's a really cool shot there too. Yeah, man, I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a good time.
I got a few more things. Sorry.
Okay.
Got really annoyed at McCory taking the cell phone out of the office, thinking it was going to work. It's not going to work when you go away from the base receiver. This is the 90s. It's not happening. But thankfully, the movie came through and decided, oh yeah, this thing doesn't work. And
he gets mad and he throws it, and the guy
throws it at the bathroom mirror.
They're gonna win. Don't worry. The random fan comes up to him, which is a nice moment.
This one's important to me, and I think it should be important to you too. I can't believe the Penguins didn't pull the goalie with less than 2 minutes left, down 1 in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. This coach is fucking awful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a spectacular goal they score at the end to tie the game up.
Well, it's an interesting moment too, because like you just see Jean-Claude Van Damme is just staring at the clock and everything, like I'm screwed.
Yeah, he's like against the glass, like. And most of great goal, amazing play, but the play-by-play guy with the worst call I've ever heard. I mean, it's right up there with Joe Buck at the helmet catch. He's like, and that happened. It's like, he has more reaction when the scoreboard blows up. Like, holy shit! And I was like, hey, there you go. But the coach should be fired for not pulling the goalie, and the play-by-play guy has got to go. Sorry.
Fair enough.
If I saw this in a theater today, I would have stood up and applauded when the scoreboard flashed sudden death a dozen times. Just like, yes, absolutely. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Bruce Willis were considered for the role of Darren.
Interesting.
All three turned it down.
Shocker.
Before Van Damme got the part. Schwarzenegger turned it down because he'd already filmed True Lies and Junior, like back to back. So he's like, I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Stallone turned it down because he didn't like the quality of the script, and Willis turned the part down because he was already working on Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I did this already.
I'm busy. James Woods was originally considered for the role of Joshua Foss.
Oh, okay.
Later played by Powers Booth, but he turned down the part because he didn't like the direction of the character. I don't think they probably didn't offer him enough money.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, what?
This movie had a budget of $35 million, a little over $72 million today. U.S. gross of a little over $20 million. And a worldwide gross of 64.3, which comes to like 132.8 million today. Didn't do well. It debuted at number 8 on the weekend box office.
Dang.
The weekend before Christmas.
Oof, it's a weird release. Okay.
Yeah. Lost to Waiting to Exhale, which went number 1 that weekend.
Okay.
And also lost to Grumpier Old Men, which debuted at number 4 that weekend.
Love that movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It beat out Tom and Huck, Dracula Dead and Loving It, and Cutthroat Island.
Oof. I'm not looking forward to that one.
I don't remember anything about Cutthroat Island.
I remember I saw it in the Jefferson Valley Mall. That's what I remember.
Did we see that in the theater?
Yeah, I did. At least
I don't know. I'm watching Frank Langella ham it up in the trailer. I was like, all right, I can look at this. Let's go, Skeletor.
Oh boy.
So that's all I got. That's it. I'm done. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you finally came to your senses and watched this movie.
Wasn't my choice, but yeah.
Oh, come on. It's good.
I'm not angry I saw it. I'm like, this is fine.
It's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's no Time Cop.
No, yeah, again, I think Time Cops is number 1 in my book.
It's no Bloodsport, no Kickboxer.
Those are better movies, I agree. But this is still, it's like slightly different.
No Universal Soldier.
Another really good one, yeah. Like it's a little bit different for him, and I don't know, it's still fun and I enjoy it. All right, so it's your pick.
One last thing I forgot.
Okay.
New category for this season.
Oh yes,
which will not count to this final score. Body mass alone, Tim.
Conversations anymore about dudes' physiques.
Dennis,
and whether
and
they can...
body mass alone.
That's what I was trying to avoid. A conversation about body mass.
Alone,
okay?
Tim.
Body mass alone.
How would you rate this movie from 1 to Predator?
Like a 2.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
It's pretty weak, right?
No muscle bound in this.
I'm saying like the one time is him hanging off towards the end where he's trying to get around the dude. That's where you get to see some biceps on him. Otherwise,
It doesn't help when he's wearing the fireman's uniform. He's like got the cuffs covering up the biceps the whole time.
Yeah, and at one
the
point...
muscles from Bustles was like, where'd the muscles?
Yeah, he rolled up his sleeves early on, and then when he made his first MacGyver invention, he had to roll them back down, and then they were rolled down for like a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he's not in the white t-shirt till after the goalie thing. So, like, yeah, you really don't, like, you don't even, not him shirtless, or in the, he likes the little tees. What do you call those things with, like, the almost spaghetti drops, or straps, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Tank top, yeah.
But it's not the normal tank top, because for him, he always wore the thinner ones that came around, so you could get his chest more. Like, that was kind of his thing. So, yeah, it was really, like, not a muscular clad dude. He was very well dressed, or not well dressed, but very covered.
Yeah.
So I think 2 for body mass alone is fair.
Okay, works for me.
Yeah.
Body mass alone, Tim.
Body mass alone.
All right. I hope we'll have that drop for Always Sunny, so people will understand.
I hope so. I hope we don't get flagged for it, or whatever if I do try to drop it. But
I'm just gonna flag that. It's like
I hope they just appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So next week.
Yes. What is your pick?
Your Soul Is Mine, Tim.
Oh, it has begun.
Your soul is mine.
Woo!
Mortal Kombat. Let's go.
What?
Streaming on Max.
What an epic movie.
Our first of 3 Christopher Lambert movies this season.
I'm so shocked. I didn't know 95 was the year of Lambert. Like, who would have known? Like,
Year of Lambert.
Not me. I would have not known that.
I was surprised too.
But I have not seen that movie in quite some time. So I'm definitely curious to revisit. I mean, that is like an era of childhood there, for sure, with the video games and that movie, and of course the soundtrack was like ginormous, and it changed sports for a while because it was like on. Every like sporting event would have that bit of the song, and
Test your might.
Yeah, it was like huge. It's funny, like in what was that Ryan Reynolds movie Just Friends, and they like put on like their high school soundtrack, and they're like both singing along to the Mortal Kombat theme. It's like
I did not remember that part.
Good movie. But anyway, yeah.
I remember liking the movie. I just don't remember that part.
Yeah, it was when they were in the car ride home or whatever together for the first time, and they're both going. Like, it's funny.
I was working at Blockbuster at the time when that thing came out on DVD. And,
Just Friends.
Yeah, I had to watch the Blockbuster promo video over and over again. I had to hear Chris Klein sing Jamie Smiles.
Oh no!
Approximately like 10,000 times. So I got the thing permanently etched in here.
It's not a good thing. It's funny because it's a great role for him, but it's a
one of the
bummer to
best
hear
Chris Klein
that
performances,
over and over again.
Yeah, it is. Anything that many times is kind of a bummer.
Dusty Dinkelman.
Okay, did not remember her name. All right,
man.
That's it.
Yep. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Mortal Kombat!